That's how you tap your watch.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to approve the prior minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the December 8th board meeting?
So moved.
I'll step down a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the December 8th executive session meeting?
So moved.
I'll step down a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The reading of the correspondence. There isn't any. The financial conditions. The operating budget to actual balances. The income for the first 5 months of the fiscal 2023 is $1,907,939, with expenses at $1,948,314, which is 70% of our budgeted expenses. The outstanding water receivables as of December 31st is $83,568. The month's commitments are $29,037, and the water receivables for the month were $17,991. Is there a motion to accept the financial reports as presented?
So moved.
I'll step down in a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Is there a motion to approve the expenditure warrants as presented?
So moved.
I'll step down in a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The old business, Somerset Brook Street well. We don't really have anything as of right now. We're still waiting on them.
Yeah, I sent you an email
Sent
today.
an email
did you?
about, the lawyers going back and forth, yeah, the cap.
Yeah, that was all.
The MIU repair update is 590 meters completed out of like 1,400.
Somerset, well, they are doing that testing. That testing,
Okay.
thinking about that.
Yeah, we're doing some additional testing on the water quality.
Mm-hmm.
The MIUs, we have 590 completed. We're setting up appointments for January and February. So we're probably, 6 months into this? And we almost have halfway
Yeah.
done,
Yeah.
6, 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
The Main Street water main project update. They're down to almost they're getting close to Elm Street.
Yeah.
They ran into some ledge this week. And they just started doing, I think, water services this week up at the top.
So, yes.
Starting on Williams, working their way down.
Yeah, they kind of started on the hill. They kind of moved down a little bit.
Okay.
They were kind of bouncing around a little bit. All right, and then as far as Main Street, I don't know if you want to, you just hit.
Wait till public input,
Okay,
so if you,
all right.
Mr. Commissioner.
Environmental Partners, the Cedar One replacement well. I think you said Chuck will come next
I
month.
Yes.
Yeah,
it'll
it'll be in February.
Yes,
And that
He's doing
update on the well.
yes, he's doing some committing.
All right, and the superintendent position.
I put it in the paper, everyone that calls from any kind of water, I'm asking if they know anyone to send them our way.
Okay, we haven't had any applicants, which is fine. New business, the special district meeting. We have to, Leonard's not here for that, so we have to
Yeah.
wait for that. The next regular Board of Commissioners meeting is, we have to check on February 9th at 6 o'clock. We have to see if,
Yeah, Jason was okay with it right now, but like I said, he is, but.
Is that the ninth, you said?
yeah,
Yeah.
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
9th at 6.
I'm good with that. Check with Jason, yeah.
Jason was good as of yesterday, Tuesday.
And I'm fine with that, but we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, see what goes.
Okay.
Could change.
And public input?
Wait, you gonna hear?
Yeah, it's on camera. Oh, no.
Do I need to?
Nope.
My name is Timothy Rhines. I live at 360 Main Street. I live directly across from the laydown yard that was set up for a CNOT construction. First day of construction, when it commenced, they were there at a time that was before 6 a.m. And within that time frame, I had, witnessed that the drivers were leaving the laydown yard with uncovered loads. I made a phone call directly to CNOT and myself, spoke to someone there, and my grievances, they said they would take care of it. I also contacted Commissioner Lash, who ended up taking care of every possible problem that I had run into living across the street, and I greatly appreciate my text messages and my phone calls being returned by the water district. Now, I'd like to know a few questions. That was the contractor ever notified at the beginning of the job that you have a packet, this is the time you start, this is the time you end? They had also a fuel truck show up at 5 a.m. That was within the first 10 days of the job. After a phone call and a text message, that problem was taken care of. Again, uncovered loads. Every resident's probably driven down Main Street. I worked in the industry for many years, laying pipe, laying, sewer, water, gas. Are they saw cutting that road? Because if they're saw cutting that road should not be torn up on the side of the way it is. So to me, they're just going in and they're taking the backhoe and just tearing up that asphalt. If it comes up, they just do it. And then when they are laying the pipe, is there any type of compacted cover on that pipe? That pipe is supposed to be compacted. The reason why you're having the road in the mess that it is because there's no compaction, so it's sinking. So when they're putting their base coat of coal patch on, it just sinks because there's no compaction. So my other question is does CNOT have a supervisor on site, and also does the Dighton Water District have an overseer on site 8 hours of the day watching that project? Because if there's no one on site as a clerk of the works situation, they're just gonna run roughshod. And as an observation, when I see workers driving trucks, operating machinery, and in a hole, that tells me that I already know it's a non-union job, and I'd like to see if the water district is checking the contractor's books, because he's probably paying or getting paid $55 or $60 an hour for his truck drivers and $80 or $90 for his operators. So if it's a rate job, okay, because it is a utility, a public utility, which is a standard rate job, you have to pay the prevailing wage. If he's not paying it, there's a problem. And then I heard through rumor and conjecture today that the contractor's running out of money and they're not going to be able to cross 138. Is that true? I heard that today. That's why they're going to stop and not going to be able to cross 138. I know that's all been surveyed. I saw those guys surveying it a year and a half ago. The company you guys hired. So there's a lot of things that these really should be a clerk of the works out there observing these guys and watching what they're doing, because they're just going to do whatever they please. I watch them. It's amazing. I've been there on site. I've looked out the window from friends' houses and I see they're not running a compactor. They're just throwing whatever they want into the ditch, cover the pipe, off to the races. Ductile pipe has the capability of cracking if they're putting on material that's from the hole back into the hole again. So every time he's putting that bucket out, there's a possibility of 2 feet. All it needs is 2 feet, and rock hits that pipe. Now you have an anomaly in that pipe. Now you're running into a problem. So I just, but I just want to reiterate that after making phone calls to Commissioner Latch, all of my grievances that I aired have been taken care of. And I greatly appreciate that, because I, text you at 5:45 a.m. one day, and I didn't want to do that. And, you text me back within 10 minutes. Same thing, I texted, and you just didn't even bother texting me, you called me. You called me right on the phone. We had a discussion. You said you would take care of it. And you did, and I really appreciate that, and I'm sure that...
Well, that's why I like to take care of stuff right away, and as of, tonight. So, on some of your concerns tonight, Z Naughton did understand that the town does have an ordinance of a 7 a.m. start time. You had some concerns, they were starting early. They knew from day one that it was supposed to be a 7 a.m. start. They didn't follow it. As of today, January 12th, they're on their last straw. They've already been told by me They have one more shot at this. They're on their third strike. One more time, and they're packing their stuff up, and I'm locking the gates, and they're not allowed to go in there. So just so you know that they're on their last strike, because I'm not dealing with this anymore. It has nothing to do with you, but
No,
as far as the residents and the town, it's a 7 AM start. You and I had discussions. You and I had 100% that they could start the trucks at 6:30 in the morning. They could idle them for half an hour and start at 7 AM, and that did not happen. So the last time that this all went down, Tom Ferry was involved, Jim Aguirre was involved. They went out there before 7 o'clock. They tell me they weren't doing it, but the town tells me they were. So I have to abide by the town, because as far as Jimmy Aguirre and Tom Ferry, both were there the same day, the week before Christmas, and they were working before 7 o'clock. The fuel truck, they tell me that it's an outside contractor that fuels the trucks. They didn't have any control of that in the beginning, but now they do. They can't even start their truck. They can drive in before 7 o'clock, but they have to shut the truck off before 7. You mentioned the loads of material, and I don't know why.
Yeah, they were covered, they were uncovered in the beginning, but now they are covering their loads as they're driving out of the facility, so they are
Okay.
covered, so.
As far as the trench and the compact, we have a person out on site, Nick. He works for Woodard and Curran. He is the liaison between the town and the contractor. I would like Nick to come talk to you someday so you can actually find out exactly, but they are bringing in the material. There is a set standard by the plans as far as the Woodard and Curran is how much has to be material above the pipe, brought in material. Then they can bring in what was on site. So it's 12 inches of material that they bring in. I think it's sand below the pipe, material that they bring in, then they can bring back
And then whatever cover was used.
up to a certain amount of rock size-wise, and then they're supposedly using the compactor that's on the excavator. They have one excavator digging and then one excavator with a compactor on it. They call it a zipper machine.
I've seen those, okay. That answered my question then.
So they started zipping at the top of Main Street where they started, the zipper wasn't wide enough for the machine that they were doing digging. Nick wasn't there in the beginning of the project, and when they were digging up the road wider than the zipper because of the rock. When Nick started, he said, "I don't really care what you guys want, then you need to zip a zip and a half to try to save the road as much as we can. We understand the road is a mess, we understand it's worse up at the top than the bottom." So now they're zipping a zip and a half wide, seems to be getting better. And the road is better shape as they work their way down.
I noticed that section, well, what you're referring to is basically from Elm Street heading west of Main Street until you get before the dams. I just drove
Correct,
over there, so I
correct.
can see that, you know, it was a nice,
Right, so they're using that
Correct,
zipper
so-
as far as that's concerned. They didn't want to tar to the top of the road because they're only laying the main now, and then they have to go back and do the services. Z Naughton didn't want to put the top layer of tar because of cost-wise. They wanted to leave it down another 2 or 3 inches and not put the final layer because they wanted the service to be done and then the final coat afterward. I told them absolutely not. It had to have been all taken care of up until Christmas. That's why they top layered the tar up until they stopped till Christmas time. Yes, from Christmas till now it's a mess again, but they haven't top layered that. So that's why kind of the top end is better than what they're working out towards.
I've
Bottom
noticed
end.
that difference.
So, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna go for a few more weeks. I don't know what's gonna happen before I get on them again to say, okay, now you need to tar again that last layer. I mean, it's a cost to them, but the road is such a mess that,
I just feel bad for whomever from the town is gonna go out, and if we do get, you know, snow, that they're gonna have to plow Main Street, they're just gonna end up tearing it up anyway, which is.
they are gonna tear it
you
up, but
know.
as far as driving, I mean, we've had, what, one tire blowout?
Because I would think that they're probably gonna just scarify that in the end and just put a coat down, and that's it.
We're not gonna do anything, because I mean, that's all getting dug up. Once,
That's what I mean, once the job is completed where you've done all of your mains, you've done all your laterals, and then they're probably just gonna go in, they're gonna just scarify that whole road and just lay a top coat.
well, they're gonna
Be done
do,
with it.
it's us, then it's National Grid, then it's the sidewalks, and then it's the
Oh, they're
street.
gonna move telephone poles.
They have to move everything back, because up for the first sidewalks, the poles are all in the way. So it's gonna be us, National Grid, the sidewalks, and then the road
Oh, so
last.
sidewalks are going all the way up Main Street?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
all the way from Williams all the way down to Maine, I
Oh,
think.
I didn't know that.
County Street. County all the way up to Williams.
I didn't know
They
that.
have to for the grant.
Yeah.
And they're going on the north side of the road. So your side.
Yes.
So there's still a long way to go before they repave the road, I mean, but that's how it's gonna work.
No, I understand the whole process, and I'll let you finish answering the questions that I'd asked you first, because I just have one single one. We all know that come March is gonna be time change. So it's gonna be later in this morning, and sometimes these guys get in their minds that, oh, hey, it's late at 6 o'clock, I can start now.
That's the last time, they understand that this is it.
They
That's-
think,
I'm not-
I think they know that the neighbors are watching.
Nick
honestly.
gives me a text every morning at 7 o'clock. The liaison, Nick, that's out there that I want you to talk to this week, I'll tell him that, to come
Cool.
see you. He sends me a text at 7:02 every morning. And that's the way it is, I want a text, and he goes by there to make sure nothing's going, nothing's here. So, I'm on it every day.
Okay, I appreciate that. You know, I just want to just say this also is that, going back to like times, fuel trucks and things, and when I spoke to the young lady on the phone at their office up in East Bridgewater, she had mentioned, well, would you have a problem with Sunday deliveries? I said, no, absolutely not. I said, as long as they're after like 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning, I said, that's fine. I have no problem with that. And I think the neighbors would agree with that also. You wouldn't want to have somebody pull up at, 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., making deliveries or whatever it may be. But I told them, I said, no, you have a project to complete or get started and get into the bare bones of it. I have no problem with that. I understand this situation. So, I can only speak for myself and not the other neighbors around me, but if they want to deliver at 9 a.m. on a Sunday, go right ahead.
I honestly, we had talked about the 10 o'clock delivery, you and I. That was to Dennis, is kind of the foreman down there. I don't even know, to be honest with you, if they've been doing any deliveries on weekends, because I haven't heard
I have
anything.
just Saturday during the day when they're out working, just
Okay,
basic hours.
but yeah,
That's
I
it.
haven't heard anything. They're gonna be working Monday during Martin Luther King. They asked us to work that day because of the weather. We're trying to get as much as we can done before we're way ahead of schedule, and we're just as far as we can to beat the weather. Because
Absolutely.
this all has to be done by July of next year.
They're very fortunate that we haven't had frost,
Oh, yeah,
just
so-
ice,
Let's not jinx it.
Right.
So-
Right,
No,
No, right. As far as the union and the prevailing wages, they have had a test out there, and they are prevailing wage, they're all union workers, and that is all legit. They just had a survey, they had to do something a few weeks ago where somebody came in and made sure they're all union, they all have their union cards. It is prevailing wage, so that is all.
They can, let me put it this way, is they can show you any union card that they're a teamster, that they're a laborer, but until you see that wage or somebody's paycheck, because a lot of these contracts are 2 sets of books. You need to see the employee's paycheck somehow to make sure that they're getting paid a wage, or
We
ask the
can ask for something
contractor's
like that,
books.
we can ask about the prevailing wage in the
Ask-
union.
ask the contractor to see their books.
Because that, honestly, we
Yeah.
haven't done, but I know they did have something out there a couple weeks ago, because the engineering firm requires that after so many weeks that they do, but I'll look into that. As you see that we're stopping, if you can see the pipe, if you're coming down William Street, they stop with the stream crossings. There's another company that's coming in and going underneath the
They're gonna
streams.
bore.
So they have to call bore underneath the,
Are
so
they gonna
that's.
bore 138 also?
So, I don't know where the rumor is saying that we're not crossing 138. There was a rumor, well, let me back up. The prior superintendent had talked about tying into Somerset at the 138 crossing, but we can't do that because you have to have, not drains, but you have to purge and you have to, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to flush.
They haven't had a shut off.
You'd have to flush every single time that you tie in.
Yeah.
And there's no way to do that down there, so that's impossible to do. 100% we are going underneath 138 to Main Street.
I figured you would bore.
There's a 30-inch concrete pipe that the engineering firm didn't know about. They didn't know that they had the 30-inch tying the Segregated River to Somerset. They think that there's only a 12-inch main going down 138. We have a meeting on Monday about that with Chris Wickman in Somerset and Z Naughton. I have a 10 o'clock meeting about that. we're 100% going across 138, that's not even an issue. We have to talk about how far down, I think we're going down to Pleasant Street.
No, that was the original plan, I didn't know if they put that on hold.
The pipe, so the pipe on the other side of 138 is 1927. It's the 1950s pipe that's bad. From 52 to 58 is where the bad casting was. And that's what Main Street is, and that's the reason why it keeps failing. So, we have an employee here that's said that we could actually stop at the post office. And I'm not 100% sure how far down it actually, the project is. I could look on the plans. But that would be enough for us. But we are going across 138 because it's a state highway, it's already in the plans, they've already budgeted for it, and it would be foolish for us not to do that with that state highway. It's just not, it's already in the plans, it's already been paid for, so that's, I don't know where that room is coming. It'd be foolish not to.
I'll squash that rumor.
All right. Like I said, the streams, ZNOT, and we have that meeting on Monday as far as that contractor that's coming in, because that is gonna hold us up a little bit as far as the stream crossings, but that's on them.
Yeah.
They bid it, they were supposed to go underneath it, that's not, they keep saying that their contractor's having a problem getting them here, but it has to be done by July.
Yeah. Are they gonna encase that pipe under the road borings, or?
I'm gonna be 100%,
Just curious if they're gonna encase it or not.
I
just
can't
to
answer
see
that, I
the
don't know
background.
100%, I'd have to look at the
Because
plans.
sometimes it's an outside sleeve on those, just for protection.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know. I'd have to look. And like I said, I want Nick to talk to you about
Sure,
exactly.
you have my
so
phone
I'm gonna-
number,
Yeah, I'll have Nick
Because
this
they
week.
got- Yeah, I got his
That
number.
way you meet
He
with
did.
him, he can meet you, and then
Sure,
you
you can
can.
forward my phone number to him and have him call
Alright.
me, and I can.
Can you remind me on that, just to make sure?
He can meet at my
On
house
Monday?
or whatever he
Well,
prefers.
he's there right at 7 o'clock. He makes sure that he's there early. He gets everybody making sure, and he does all the GPS coordinates on the pipe. He makes sure that they're following protocol. He's,
Oh, you shoot all the grades too, huh?
yeah, because we have to know where the pipes are. They do it all.
It's good to know.
So, and I talk to him 2 or 3 times a week anyway, so. it'd be-
Good to know. Yeah, have him call me, anytime after like 9 AM in the morning, if he wants to come out of home.
Yep, that's
I
fine.
have absolutely no problem with that.
All right,
My address, Tina, is 316 Main Street, it's just directly across the large greenhouse.
I've had some complaints, people driving around and the road's closed and I can't, like I said, we're trying to do as best we can, trying to get,
I have to go around.
and knock on wood, as of today, we haven't had a break on the old stuff, even though all the digging that we've been doing for the new, the old one's been hanging in there, so.
It's good.
So, that's all I got.
I greatly appreciate everyone's time, I really do. And again, I just, I know I've said this, I'm just reiterating what I'm saying, but Derek, I've called you, you've answered my text, you've answered
I tried.
phone calls.
Let me just,
Give me the right
take
on.
this, because this is Chris. You guys all set there on Somerset? Good, good, I'm in the middle of the meeting, but you're all set?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
That's fine. That's fine. Yep. I'll call Bob and just let him know that we're feeding you for the night. Okay? All right. All right, thanks. Okay, bye. All right, the valve broke for Somerset. We have to feed Somerset for the night. So I gotta call Bob before I leave. Just let him know that we are feeding Somerset. All right, sorry.
No, you're a busy man.
Oh, it's nonstop. All right. Well, that's all right. All right, I guess that's it. We got the Board of Commissioners meeting February 9th at 6, and is there a motion? Oh, we don't have to go into executive mention section, so we're good. All right.
Before you adjourn, I just have a question. Do you have a set meeting night, or does it, it floats?
It floats just because we're trying to get Eric and Jason and myself to try to get the best we can. We try
It's
to,
usually the second Thursday of the month, but sometimes it's the third.
Most times you yourself will usually know within like 4 days prior to your meeting.
Absolutely.
Yes, I know, you have 48 hours to post, so.
we're trying to post, make sure we post it on the sign out front, and it's.
It's on our website.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank the commissioners for your time.
Thank you.
It's greatly
Thank you.
appreciated, and good luck with the project. I look forward to, and I'm sure we all do, when it's completed, we're gonna have, you know, a nice line, hopefully,
New road, new
new
sidewalk.
road, no
We're good.
further problems
Till the next
for another
one.
100 years.
I hope so, I hope so. So, good,
Thanks, appreciate it.
anytime.
You guys have a great evening.
All right, thanks.
So,
I'll do this on camera, thanks.
All right, anytime, call me anytime.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Dana, thank you very much, I appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful evening.
All right, stay healthy, all right, safe.
Do the same.
All right, meeting adjourned.
6:45.